So I recently had a hen go broody. This is Speck, and she does this every year, and she's my only hen that seriously goes broody every year. And that's because I don't buy broody breeds. I don't want my chickens to hatch chicks, and I don't like dealing with broodies. But sometimes you end up with one anyway. And Speck, she just can't help herself. So when I found her broody in her favorite nesting box this year, I wasn't surprised.
Come here, girl. Gosh, you're so pretty. You are.
And I actually was even a little bit amused by it this year because Speck and her little flock of hens, they don't even have a rooster. In previous years, Speck did live very happily with the rooster. It was this guy, Champ.
Hey, mister.
He was such a character and he was so beloved by all of my hens. But he did unfortunately pass away last year. But that now means that Speck's sitting on non-fertilized eggs that will never hatch, and even worse than that, a couple of these eggs are fake. They're plastic Easter eggs.
I know, I gotcha. I gotcha, sweet. Baby, only one of those eggs is even real.
I put them there a long time ago to help the younger hens learn where to lay, and now Speck is trying to hatch them. But of course this means that no matter how diligent Speck is with her motherly duties, those eggs are just never gonna hatch. And so to try and break Speck of her broodiness, I removed her from the nest, I removed her eggs from the nest, I disposed of the fake eggs, and then I temporarily blocked her access to the coop. And so what I did was I let the flock out to free range, I carried Speck out to the rest of the flock, and then I closed the run door so she wasn't able to get back into the coop. And this is how she reacted. So first she immediately tries to find her way back in. And then when she realizes that she can't find a way back in, she starts getting really antsy. She starts displaying a lot of displacement behaviors. So she does things like the full body shake. She tail wags, she scratches, she beak wipes. And she pecks at the grass, but she's not really eating it. She shakes her head, lots of displacement behaviors. And between all her behaviors, she does this incessant clucking. And if you've ever had a broody hen, you will know this cluck. And as time goes on, Speck gets more and more agitated. Over and over again, she tries to find a way back into the run so she can get back into the coop and on her nest. She paces, she even goes underneath the coop to try to get inside somehow that way.
Did she just go under the coop?
And at one point, she even comes over and tries to ask me for help.
You talking to me? I know, I usually help you out, but I'm not helping you with this one. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. You don't even have a fertilized egg. You don't even have one. You're getting all bent out of shape over nothing, Speck.
And then after about 20 minutes of all this behavior, something really bad happened. Speck got really desperate and she started body slamming against the side of the run. So she was throwing herself really hard against that wire wall of the run. She was squawking and flapping, she was screaming. It was really alarming, and I was very, very worried that she was gonna injure herself. And so I didn't get any of that on video because I just jumped up immediately to stop her from hurting herself. And then I just let her back into the run so she could go back into the coop and calm down because she was just very worked up, very upset. And that really brings me to the point of this whole video. I did not give my broody hen the respect or the empathy that she deserved. And I think that this is a problem for a lot of us, but do you remember even what I said at the beginning of this video when I found Speck sitting on her eggs? So when I found our broody in her favorite nesting box this year, I wasn't surprised. But I actually was even a little bit amused. I said that I was kind of amused. That was my first thought that I had when I saw that she was broody. And I think that's how we as chicken keepers tend to view our broody hens when we don't want them to go broody. We look at them with amusement or even annoyance. We see them as a nuisance. But what we pretty much never do is empathize with them. Because just think for a minute what it means to a hen to be broody. To us, it just means that our hens are incubating and hatching eggs, with the end result being more chickens that we may or may not want. But to our hens, it means being a mom. And I remember as a kid having my first exposure to just how strong this motherhood identity is to people. So my parents were 10 to 15 years older than all of my friends' parents. So one day I asked my mom why they waited so long to have kids. And she told me that when she and my dad got married in their early 20s, that they never wanted to have kids. And then 10 years later, my mom said that her clock went off. And she said she dreamed of children every night and they occupied her every waking thought. It's all she could think about. And that she wanted babies so badly that she gave my dad an ultimatum that he was either going to have children with her or she was going to divorce him and find somebody who would. And judge her for that if you want to. You could think that was wrong of her or right, it doesn't matter. The point here is that that biological drive for motherhood can be so strong that it drives you into a sort of desperation. So in my mom's case, she was willing to break her family apart because of this drive. And in Speck's case, she was willing to injure herself potentially in order to get back to that nest so she could continue with her motherhood. And so when we don't let our broody hens brood, we are doing something really cruel to them. And don't misunderstand me here. I'm not saying that you should let your broody hens hatch chicks whenever they want to. That would be irresponsible, and I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that even if we are doing something necessary by breaking our hen's broodiness, we're doing something cruel too, because in her mind, she's already decided to be a mom. She's sure of it. She believes it's happening, and you are ripping that away from her. So instead of just dismissing our hens' feelings when they become broody and acting like they're being stubborn or silly.
You don't even have a fertilized egg. You don't even have one. You're getting all bent out of shape over nothing, Speck.
Don't we owe it to them to show just a little bit more tenderness around their situation, to show that we understand that this is a devastating time for them? And I know some people out there are gonna think I'm just anthropomorphizing, and they may be right, but I don't think they are. Chickens are ultra social animals with really strong bonds. And although not every broody hen ends up being a good mother, just like not every human woman is a good mother, the many, many hens who do have the genes for it, they're like mama bears when it comes to their babies. They devote everything they have to their chicks, and they will even fight to the death to defend their chicks without hesitation. And there's actually this really touching story about this and about chicken motherhood and devotion, and I highly recommend that you see it, and you can watch it here. I think this is the most beautiful story about chickens I've ever seen, and it is a true story. It's beautifully filmed. If you want your heartstrings tugged, this is the video. Happy chickening.